Welcome to Witches in Yoga Pants, your cozy corner of the cosmos where modern magic meets everyday life. We're here to explore magic, mindfulness, and personal growth with a grounded, no-fluff vibe. Whether you're into moon rituals, tarot spreads, or just trying to survive Mercury retrograde, you are in the right place. So get ready to disrupt some old patterns, explore what it means to reclaim your power, and remember who you really are. So pull up your yoga mat, light a candle, and let's get into it. In today's episode, I'm joined by my friend Casey Claypool. Casey has been a licensed mental health therapist since 2007 and is currently practicing in Washington State. She specializes in internal family systems, also known as IFS or parts work. In our conversation, Casey shares insight into this powerful and compassionate approach to healing, helping us to understand how working with our parts can create more clarity, self-awareness, and internal harmony. She also gives us a glimpse into an exciting project she's been working on. I'm really looking forward to sharing this conversation with you. So let's dive in. Okay, welcome. Thank you so much for making the trek. I know you had to come across the border.
I know, the river.
To get here, cross the river to get here. Yeah. But I have been so excited about having this conversation because this work is so intriguing to me. I think we've actually had shared clients. I've worked with people who are working with therapists doing this work, and it's just amazing. And so I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, LaDeene.
Awesome.
I've been so excited to do this.
Okay. So I thought we could start today explaining a little bit about what IFS is and how it works. I'll let you do that.
Sure. So IFS stands for Internal Family Systems. Internal Family Systems, or IFS, was created by Richard Schwartz. It's a wonderful system that helps us more deeply understand who we are.
Okay.
And our subconscious mind.
And it's AKA parts work, right?
AKA parts work.
Okay. So the different parts of ourselves.
Yes.
So cool. Okay.
So oftentimes people go, wait a second, does that mean that I have multiple personality disorder?
Mm-hmm.
And I laugh a little bit because I'm like, kind of.
Oh, God. You're like, yeah, a little bit, actually. Yeah. It's about how psychotic it gets.
Exactly. Depending on the level of trauma, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the higher level of trauma, the more fragmented our parts are, the less aware we are, the more disassociated we are from those parts.
Okay.
So it's really about becoming more self-aware through this. You know, we hear about shadow work, we hear about working on ourselves, understanding ourselves better, loving ourselves better. What does that even mean?
Mm-hmm. And even inner child work comes into play here, right? Okay. Yeah.
Yes. It's all of those things.
It's all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a more structured
yes.
way of approaching it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say more accessible too.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how it breaks down. I know we were talking earlier about there's 3 types of in traditional IFS. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about the magical things that you're doing with it here too, but let's start with how it's written typically about traditionally.
For sure. Okay. So in traditional IFS, you have protector parts, which essentially are aspects of your personality that protect what IFS would call the exiles, right? So our exiles are the ones that are burdened with things like shame, sadness, anything that our system or the society, our family deemed as too much, too intense, unacceptable, shame-filled, right? And so we end up exiling these parts of us. They don't go anywhere.
Right.
They can be just very deep within our subconscious mind.
So these are shadow parts then? Or
a part of the shadow.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but all parts can have a higher expression or a shadow expression. Is that right?
Yeah. And I would say that exiles are just burdened, and wounded inner children.
Okay. That's a good description. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. I also like to think of a bus. So I do this with my clients a lot. Right?
Nice.
So we all have a bus filled with parts. Some of them are exiles. Some of them are protectors. And protectors can be broken down in IFS language to firefighters or managers.
Okay.
Managers are the ones that work to manage our life to avoid pain. So managers are the ones that are like, okay, time to get up, time to brush your teeth, time to pay your bills, time to go to work.
They keep you in line.
They keep you in line to avoid consequences. And to feel essentially the experience of the exile, right? Like if we didn't show up to work, we would feel embarrassed, ashamed.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, that's kind of like the subconscious creating a heart wall.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like, okay, we're going to do this and this and this so that you don't have this.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Yep. Firefighters are the ones that put out the feeling. You think about a firefighter putting out the fire, putting out the feeling of, let's say it's shame, let's say it's sadness, whatever is exiled, whatever is not allowed to be felt or feels too painful, or we don't have the skills, the coping skills to be able to deal with those feelings in a productive, healthy way to process them. So firefighters are like, if you find yourself drinking to avoid feeling that social anxiety of going out, or feeling the self-consciousness. Oh, I'm gonna drink. Ooh, I get that liquid courage, right? It's a firefighter. Or, when you're bored at night and you're feeling a little sad, a little lonely, well, that bag of chips.
Oh, okay.
The manager in the morning would go, oh my gosh, how dare you? You had that bag of chips. Get yourself on the treadmill.
That makes sense. So the manager's being like, no bags of chips. But the firefighter's like, no, we need the chips.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, okay.
So we have a bus, right? So we have all these parts that are kind of hanging out on our bus. I mean, people can have, when I first start working with clients, I like to at first make it manageable. Let's identify 2 to 3 parts. Sometimes in one session, we'll identify 5 different parts. Okay, it's my angry part, or it's my collapsed part, or, and we like to name them. When you do specifically IFS work, we find a name for them that's unique to them. So it's not always just angry part.
Okay.
But they're on the bus, and I like to say, sometimes these parts hijack our bus.
Oh.
Right. They hijack the bus. Maybe it's an inner 5-year-old.
They knock the driver out and they're driving the bus.
It might be a 14-year-old part that drives the bus in relationship.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So the parts might take turns driving the bus.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes it's our little 5-year-old. Right? Who's driving the bus, making these decisions for us, or feeling overwhelmed with life's responsibilities. And rather than having a part that feels capable, that feels wise, that feels like she knows what she's doing, drive the bus, we have these younger parts driving the bus that feel totally overwhelmed. And so maybe simple things really overwhelm you in life. It's probably because you have a part that got frozen in time driving the bus.
Okay. Who has no business driving the bus, really.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. Okay. And all of our parts are going, why is she driving the bus? No.
And then there's the parts that I could do a better job of driving the bus.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So the goal in working with parts is essentially to be in self energy. Our parts are never going to get kicked off the bus. It is, even though we might try to kick some parts off the bus. Maybe there's parts that we hate, that have a lot of conflict, right? If you talk about inner conflict, these parts squabble with each other. They have relationships. So, we might have an inner critic part that really judges our little 14-year-old part, and they have power struggles. Our 14-year-old part might be a bit of a rebel, right? And do things that are very rebellious towards the inner critic, right? The inner critic's like, don't go out with that guy.
Right.
What are you thinking? He's terrible for you. And the little 14-year-old that's driving your relationship bus goes, no, he's exactly what I want.
Right.
They have this immaturity to them, right? They have a whole world. Each part is a whole world in and of itself.
And it kind of has its own persona.
Yes.
So is the goal then with IFS is it to find space for all those parts? I mean, what's the goal? What I mean, because you don't. It's kind of like the doing all of the inner work. It's like all the parts of us belong. All the parts of us deserve love and deserve grace and nurturing and all that stuff. But is that the point? Is that what the goal is?
Okay. Yeah. So I would say the goal. There's a handful of goals here.
Okay.
So one is to become more self-aware of each one of these parts.
Oh.
The more self-aware we are of these parts and the patterns of the parts, the more self-control we have. I would say the next goal.
That's so much simpler than it seems like it should be.
Sometimes self-awareness.
I mean, when you say it, it's like, okay, I'm aware of these parts of myself and I'm trying to do better. Like, it's like, that's the goal. That's great.
Well, that's first step.
Oh, okay. Dang it.
Not the ultimate goal, right? Yeah. And I would say next step, once we understand kind of these parts and the patterns, the next goal in IFS language is to unblend from, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Unblend from them so that we can access self energy.
So when you become blended with a part, then is that when you don't realize they're there? Or what is, okay.
You say, this is me. No, this is me. Right?
This is just how I am.
This is just how I am. Anytime someone is saying that exact phrase, they're blended with the part.
They're blended with the part.
They're blended with the part.
Because they can't tell the difference between that and them, right?
Yes.
It's like, okay, that's fascinating.
It's our personality ego structure.
Okay.
We need a personality and ego structure to interface with reality.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
And so we have these filters, these beliefs that we develop throughout our life, growing up in the family we grow up with. We adopt them from our parents. We adopt them from our caregivers, teachers, peers, movies we watch.
Right.
I mean,
our culture, the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything.
All of it.
Right.
Yep.
So it's creating this personality structure that feels very overwhelming to begin to look at yourself. Right. I mean, you look at yourself and you're like, it's hard to see yourself. It's hard to take a look inside and not know where to start.
Right. Absolutely.
So this gives us a place to start.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. I love it too.
Oh my gosh, so fun. Okay.
It's fun. It's
okay.
fun.
Now let's talk about, because, when you have a modality that you're practicing or you're doing something, you always have to kind of put your own touch on it, your own spin. And that's what you're working on currently.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Okay. I love talking about this.
I know. Well, we were playing with this a little bit ago and it was super fun. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're doing.
So I don't know, maybe 4 months ago, I was in bed just kind of thinking about the inner critic. And this, you hear that a lot. Oh, my inner critic, and I was just very curious about creating an image that would personify the inner critic.
You're like, what does this inner critic look like? Is that what the idea is? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And of course, with the advent of AI, ChatGPT, I was like, okay, this is possible.
Right.
I am an artist. I'm not a very great artist. So me trying to create it for myself felt a little overwhelming. And I was just really curious about how AI would do this. And so the idea that I had was to make it storybook.
Okay.
Kind of based on the movies that we grew up with. Because all of our childhoods here in America, for the most part, we all grew up on Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast.
Yep.
All these Disney
Cinderella,
films.
Snow White, like all the Disney stuff. Yeah, for sure.
And it's infused into our subconscious as the first archetypes of who we are.
Wow.
Yeah. So this deck is also beyond IFS in the way that I love Jung, Carl Jung, and his work with the subconscious, the work in spirituality, and archetypes.
Okay.
Archetypes are very understood, right? When I say the witch in yoga pants, right? We all kind of have our own, maybe have our own spin on it, or the queen, the king,
right?
These generalized archetypes that we all can feel very, we know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a story. We have a story that goes with them.
Definitely.
And so when I put in my prompts and the image came up, it took my breath away, really.
You're like, wow, that's her.
Yeah. And I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And so then I just started making the next one and the next one and the next one. And when I was with clients, I was like, I'm going to make a card based on this part, this
Right.
personality thing that I'm seeing in this person or myself.
Yeah.
And so I just kept, and here months later, I now have 130 cards that I've created.
So amazing. And I got to see them. They're so cool.
Thank you.
It's like visual representations of things that you might not. It's like finding an emotion in the motion code from the. Yeah. It's like, oh, I do feel that way. I wouldn't have put that label to it, but like the pictures are like, oh my gosh, to me that's what this is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so cool.
Yeah,
so
Thank
cool.
You.
Yeah,
Thank you. And so I started using it with my own clients, and it does help to reveal certain patterns that. I mean, IFS is brilliant. So I'm standing on the shoulder of a giant, really, Richard Schwartz, the guy who came up with this system, and just kind of expanding on it, making it really playful. I love story and narrative and fantasy. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to create a system that tapped into all of those things, that made it really fun and also touched on deeper things that maybe is just harder to have access to if you don't see an IFS therapist. Right. Or if you're specifically not doing that work, how do you access these things? Or even if you are doing IFS work with your therapist, sometimes images trigger things that maybe you haven't thought about in years, or
totally
highlights different aspects that you wouldn't have been aware of.
Right. Well, just playing around with them the way we did, like, I can't imagine how would you do that work without having those to look at? I mean, I guess you obviously do. People are doing it, right? Because it's not like a thing, but
in IFS, and I'm going to, when I'm working with people with the cards, I'm still using a lot of the framework of IFS to go deeper, because it is so profound and so effective. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I would to essentially have people go inside and become aware, invite that part to be in your body, notice where it is in your body, notice the sensations of this part, notice the thoughts, notice the emotion that comes with these parts. And then to unblend, you would say, hey, thank you for joining us. Would you mind giving me a little bit of space?
Okay. So you have a conversation.
You have a conversation with the part.
How common is it for people to have relationships with their parts? Is that a common thing, or?
Well, most people, we do not have
We don't.
That's typical, but that would be another goal. Right?
Oh,
so that would be another, and we kind of got sidetracked.
We did get
on
sidetracked.
The goals. That's
that
okay.
Happens.
That's okay.
That happens.
So this is another goal, is to begin to befriend. So once you flesh out, and these are words, these are IFS words. Once you begin to flesh out the part from self with a capital S. Self with a capital S is the eternal observer of our experience, right? You can call it our soul, spirit, whatever. Being able to unblend from self means I can see the part in my imagination.
Okay.
Right? So maybe you get your own image. So my cards are the image that I designed with AI to come up. But you might come up with a different image, and that's beautiful and brilliant and wonderful. Okay. But maybe it just kind of got the process started.
Gotcha. So it's the recognizing of the part is the first part of
the recognizing.
The first part of the part.
Yes. And you want to get to a place, a lot of times in IFS too, when you try to unblend, suddenly other parts will pop in, right? So you will, once you unblend, maybe it's a part that feels really angry and resentful. So let's unblend from that part. This part sits next to you on the couch or sits across from you. You begin to kind of see it. And then the next question would be, how do you feel towards that part? And you might feel really anxious in this part's energy. You might feel scared of this part. Or you may say, I hate this part.
Okay.
So it really is the relationship to self and all our parts.
That makes so much sense. So being able to have a relationship with that part then and moving forward, like in a healthy way, once you've kind of worked with this for a while, you might feel that part rising up and then you're like, okay, I hear you and I understand how that feels, but we're not doing that right now. It's like,
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Like, okay.
And the relationship requires trust. So it's really about them beginning to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times parts don't even know that we are full grown adults.
Wow. Okay.
Sometimes as we interview these parts, they go, sometimes I ask, how old do you think they are?
Right. So do you do this? Do you hypnotize people, or is it in meditation, or it's just a Q&A?
Sometimes people keep their eyes open. Sometimes they close them, but it's fascinating because I've been trained. I am a hypnotherapist.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that about you.
I have that training.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that it's amazing how people go into trance so easily with IFS. I don't even have to do much of an induction at all. I just have them take some deep breaths, focus inward, and some people struggle with it more than others.
Sure.
Right. But it's amazing how deep people go.
And you just drop right in.
They just drop right in. I'm amazed every time.
Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes people get distracted, but we call that a part. And they just tell me, I'm getting a little distracted. I'm noticing, I'm thinking about what to make for dinner. I'm like, that's really good. Here's just another part.
Is that a protector?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a manager.
Right? Oh, it's a
what
manager.
What are we going to have for dinner?
Thinking about that might be safer than what you're about to think about.
And that is key.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of times the system gets really ramped up in doing this work because it feels very vulnerable. It feels very scary. So parts will jump in and it takes time to unblend maybe 5 parts until we get to self energy.
Wow.
So we can't really build trust until we get to pure self energy, which is that state of compassion, the state of curiosity, state of calm.
Where we all belong, but so few of us are. It's just the truth.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So is it typical then for people to have, is 5 parts like an average, or do some people have like a lot of parts?
Well, the interesting thing, it's hard because everybody is so different. And I think that in the deck that I've created, what I'm finding is that I think it's infinite.
Okay.
Not literally infinite.
Well, no, I mean, but you keep adding you keep discovering new parts and creating cards for them.
And I would say that every part that's in my deck, I contain within me. And maybe some parts are much bigger than other parts, but I can identify even the darkest ones that I created in that deck.
Within yourself.
I have inside. And
we all probably do. So the parts that you need to find and discovered and work with are the parts that you've exiled and pushed aside, or how do you know which parts would be productive to work with?
The system will tell you.
Okay.
So when we're just doing IFS, well, let me say this real quick. So my system is called Kingdom Within.
Okay.
So I probably should have said that. So the system will tell you. Maybe my client will come in and they'll be like, oh yeah, my husband's been driving me crazy, or whatever it is. And they're ready to do some parts work. What I would just generally do is, you want to work on that part? Are you ready to kind of dive a little bit deeper? And they would say, yeah, let's do it. So I would have them close their eyes, turn inward, take some nice deep breaths. And I would say, invite that part to join you. Or if they have no idea, I would just say, turn inside and ask, what part is ready to be seen today? What part needs to be seen? What part needs to be heard? What part is challenging me right now? And the system will tell you
So the person,
you can't go wrong.
Right.
Really.
So the person would be able to come up with something like, the part of me that's judging, or the part of, that's what they're going to say is this part that is doing this. It's like more of an action.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes. And just like emotion code, right? When people say, I want to work on overeating at night.
Right.
And you can work with a very general thing and you drill it down and it becomes clearer and clearer and more specific, right?
Definitely.
It's very much like IFS. You can start kind of broad and as you dive deeper, things get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Right. Well, and that was my introduction to this work, as I had a client who was doing parts work
Yeah.
potentially with you, I think, but maybe
Sure.
how we met.
Sure.
And it was just fascinating how we could do emotion code on that part that they were working on in their therapy session. And it was just so connected. So cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead and talk
Yeah.
about your Kingdom Within
Yes.
set and
So-
what you've done.
Yep. Kingdom Within came from the verse about Jesus saying the kingdom of God is inside of you. The kingdom of heaven is within. And so I do believe that Jesus was teaching us how to be more compassionate, to be more forgiving. And the work is done inside of us. And we can either live hell on earth or heaven on earth, depending on our perspective,
Right.
our level of consciousness.
Right.
We can really create either in our life.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah.
And so when these parts are out of tune, so I also like to think about parts work as being, you have a guitar, you have strings, maybe you haven't touched your guitar in a long time, and you strum the guitar and it's all out of tune. The whole chord sounds awful, right?
Okay.
Each one of those strings is a part.
Okay.
And so I perceive each part as being a part of our song. And so how do we tune the part? How do we raise or lower its frequency so it harmonizes with the rest of the parts?
Okay. Boy, I could see how this would be like really in-depth and kind of ongoing work sometimes, because I feel like as we expand and grow and change, those parts might need to be tweaked with us, right?
Yes.
Dude.
100%.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Back to the Kingdom Within. Sorry.
Well, yeah, it's all connected, right?
It's all connected.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
Yeah, just I wanted to use archetypes that you would find in a kingdom, right? In a very storybook kingdom,
The cards definitely have that vibe. They're so cool. I think we should probably say here that these cards are not yet available to purchase, but they will be eventually.
Yes.
This is something that you're still working on.
Yes.
It's kind of in the works.
In the works. I've been hand making them.
But we've been
each
talking
one.
about, but I've been wanting to talk about this with you for so long. So it's like, yay. Okay. So yeah, they do have a storybook feel to them.
And I wanted the art to feel, to kind of bring back childhood. Because that's essentially the goal too, is to get in touch with those inner children.
Yeah.
And
the different parts of that inner child, right?
Yeah,
Because there's parts in, are there parts in parts? Kinda?
there can be.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we discover a part and figure out, oh, these are 3 separate parts. And they're like little groups.
Okay. Yeah. So you've developed the visual representations of how you're working with this system then, and you've expanded beyond just the IFS system. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Yeah. So I've split the protectors. So in IFS, again, the protectors are either firefighters or managers. I've split it into 6 different categories. There are foundational protectors. So these kind of have a function. They organize from identity, meaning, and self-concept. Who am I in the world? They give coherence to life experience. And so I have cards for the mother, for the father, for the queen, for the king. There is a gatekeeper in there, right? Parts that like gatekeep to kind of hold back boundaries. I think another one is the lovers in the foundational. Friendship is in the foundational. So these are just things that we all universally experience.
Okay.
Whether our mom was in our life or not, we all have a mother, and we all have a relationship to mother energy and the mother that was there or not there.
So there's some kind of relationship there regardless. Okay.
Yeah. And then I have control protectors. So control protectors would be in IFS a manager.
I was just going to ask, what are the difference between those and the managers? Because that sounds like a manager. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're managers.
Okay.
But they attempt to prevent pain by anticipating, judging, controlling outcomes, or maintaining certainty.
Okay.
They do it through planning, vigilance, rules, doubt, and moral or intellectual control.
Okay. So you've just taken the system and broken it down a little bit further into more identifiable kind of sections of what that is.
Yeah.
And have you found when working in that, like, is that helpful then to have a section? Because it's like, oh, I've got all these parts in this kind of section. Is that telling?
That's a really good question. I haven't gone that far and thought like that.
Okay.
Because I'm still fleshing out the system and how to use it.
Yeah.
I think it's just helpful to say, okay, this is a control protector. And this is kind of how they function, just as a way to categorize it, to understand it a little bit more,
right?
To understand maybe the psychological function behind them.
Okay.
I'm not sure how important it is. It's really more important your own narrative that you place on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have performer protectors. This is also a manager. So their function is they regulate worth, belonging, and attachment through how the self is perceived by others. They do it by performing, pleasing, rescuing, entertaining, or seducing to secure connection.
What one's that called again?
Performer
protectors.
Performer protectors. Yep. We have defenders of avoidance, which is a firefighter. So in IFS language, this would be a firefighter. They prevent pain from being felt by moving away from it before it fully activates. So how they protect is through distraction, escape, fantasy, indulgence, detachment, or numbing.
Okay. I can identify with all of those parts.
Right?
I mean,
That's
like you said before, we all have all the parts, right?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I kind of like the subcategories though.
Do you? Yeah.
I do because I feel like it kind of isolates it and lets you look at it through a clearer lens than just a general firefighter.
Exactly.
Right? Or protector. What? Yeah. Yeah. There's more. Okay.
Yep. And then we have protector of pain. So again, it would be a firefighter. They step in once the pain is already present and overwhelming. So they numb, they harden, they can collapse, they can withdraw, or resigning to pain. And so examples would be the bittered card that we picked out. The void, the victim. And so there's a lot of overlap between protectors of pain and defenders of avoidance.
Right.
But the last section is the transcendent protectors. So this isn't really in the IFS category, although it could be. But they arise when the system is no longer dominated by survival. These parts orient towards meaning, joy, connection, and vitality. They reorient identity away from defense and towards life. So some of the examples of, I have a card that's called the victory card.
Okay.
I have the adventurer, the pilgrim. And so these are like aspects of people's personality that they may really like, right? I also have the muse. So it's these aspects that can kind of grow into these unique personality traits that we're like, oh, I really like that about myself, or, oh, I want to grow towards that.
You're like, that's the goal.
Yes.
I want to move towards this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to develop my personality. I want to tune my guitar to that frequency.
Okay.
Right. Then rather than maybe the inner critic, I want to tune her into the queen.
Oh, so you can actually transform parts into.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of
that's the goal.
That's the goal, right?
Okay.
How do we, so how does the inner critic maybe?
I mean, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. IFS does it a little bit differently, right? Their language is, what job would you rather do? So it's kind of a common question within the kind of work of IFS is asking the part, let's say it's the inner critic part, what job would you rather do?
Right.
And you give opportunity to these protector parts to do a different job.
Okay. So it's like reassignment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Who do you want to grow into? Inner critic or, yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, gosh, you're almost like guiding yourself into who you want to be, how you want to show up in the world. What else do you want to say about the system that you have created that's different?
The other difference of this system is that I've also created what I call Redeemer cards.
Oh, okay.
The
Is that the healing cards?
It's
Okay.
the healing section of the deck. Yep.
And that's out. That's not within IFS. This is something that you've added, or?
Yes and no. I mean, again, I'm adding on top of.
Okay.
And so in IFS language, it would be the self, right? The self with a capital S.
Okay. So you've taken the self and broken that down.
Yes.
Into archetypes.
Yes.
Love. Okay.
And then I expanded on top of that and said, what kind of guides could we utilize? So this is very common within hypnotherapy and even in EMDR. We have clients anchor in positive resource states. And so I just created a section of the deck that says, what positive resource state do we want to invite into the system? Do we want to grow? And so there's a card like gratitude. And I've broken those into sections as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And so the Redeemer cards are broken into sections. One section is kind of like a soul retrieval section, which is really common within the hypnotherapy work that I do. A lot of people do soul retrieval stuff with energy work.
Mm-hmm.
And in IFS, it's introducing what gifts after the children become unburdened. What gifts does this child that has been burdened, this exile, need, right? And so,
okay,
right, is it innocence?
It's basically the healing portion of it.
Yes.
Like how are we going to heal you? What do you need?
Yes. Or
it's probably not a bag of chips.
Yeah. Avoid the chips.
No,
sometimes the chips are necessary.
Sometimes the chips are necessary. But that's the healing portion of the work then, is that section of the cards.
Yeah. And so sometimes what we need first is a guide to be there for our inner child. And sometimes we don't quite have access to it within our system. And so perhaps you want to invite, the forgiveness card is beautiful. It is kind of like a representation of Yeshua, Jesus. It looks like Jesus with his hands out, or maybe it's Divine Father or Divine Mother. Maybe we need this energy to assist us in the healing. Maybe we don't quite have it within ourselves. I also have a card that's the Shepherd, right? And so, or the Wise Elder. So it's kind of, what do you need? I also have a card that shows like a shaman or
goddess energy. Is there any of that in there?
Well, I would say wisdom.
Wisdom, okay.
Wisdom is kind of represented by that.
And divine feminine.
Divine feminine. And so what do you need? What do you need help with? Right. And we also have that nurturing card. So there's these different energies. And then when the child feels connected and supported, what's the soul retrieval piece that needs to be invited back? Okay. Because these are, when we're wounded as children, oftentimes we can lose our innocence, we can lose our joy, our playfulness. It's still there, but it's very hidden, very deep. And so we need to retrieve that energy.
Well, and often all that conditioning happens to where it's unacceptable, or you'd have had to tuck it away somewhere, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And your goal with this, creating this system, I mean, it's more than just the deck of cards that you're creating. You're creating a whole system around it to where people eventually will be able to, some of this is going to be self-led, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the, that's what I'm originally creating it for. But if therapists resonate with it, if you want to use it with your clients.
If I was a therapist using that, I would want that deck of cards in my office.
Thank
because
you.
that's really cool. We sat and played with them a bit. It's really cool.
Thank you.
It
would be really cool if one day I could teach classes.
Fun.
Teach or lead. It could be like a group. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be really cool.
Well, I'm excited to see where this ends up.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
It started with one idea. So Elizabeth Gilbert wrote Big Magic and Big Magic. There was an idea in there and it's really about creativity and how to tap into your creative potential. And one of those things that she talked about was, she has this belief that ideas are floating around in the ether, and that when an idea lands on you, or you're open enough to receive this idea from spirit, that it's up to you to say, is this idea something that I want to hang on to and cultivate? And am I going to commit myself to this idea that was gifted to me?
I believe that 100%. I see it in human design.
Yes.
Some people are meant to be able to take those ideas and go, is this mine, or am I supposed to share this with someone else and it's theirs?
Yeah.
I have to read that book.
Oh my gosh. It's so fascinating. I that whole book is so good. So I really do believe this idea. I was like, I was open enough to it. I think I have some of the background to be able to do it. And so this idea is like, oh, you're great. Okay, well, we'll land and see what happens.
Yeah.
And of course, I could not do this without the gift of ChatGPT and AI. And there's a lot of controversy around that, and I understand. And
it's the middle ground.
It's the middle ground. I choose to take the middle path.
Yeah.
With this whole AI thing, it's here whether we like it or not. And I think it's really given me and a lot of other people access to things that we would never be able to do in and of ourselves. I could never create this deck. I would have to have thousands and thousands of dollars.
I was going to say, I think you could, but I think it would take years and years and years and
so
tons of money.
And so much money.
And so
I would have
it's
to hire artists.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm an artist.
You're an artist. No, you are.
Yeah, I'll put quotes around that.
What part of yourself is saying that?
Exactly. Oh gosh.
No, I get that though. It's like,
right. Yeah, that like imposter syndrome feeling, right?
Yeah. No, but it would take it just makes it it would take so much more time and resources than you probably and then you'd never get it out there where people can use it and benefit from it.
My ADD would never allow me to actually bring this to fruition if I didn't have AI to help me. I mean,
what card?
Right. It's just the reality of it, right? And
yeah. So it's good.
It's been a wonderful help and assistant with this idea. And it's just really given me the confidence too to move forward and bring this out to people. We need more than ever to do this shadow work. I think the world is in a place where it is so clear that is the lack of our inner work that we've done. That's why all this suffering is happening.
I believe that 100%. Do you ever look around and go, well, that's clearly this 14-year-old self-driving that bus? Like, it's like you can start probably recognizing it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, so I think it's important.
It's very important. I think that this is the magic to changing the world, right? If we want to change the world, we have to start with ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I think so often we are distracted with the awful things that are happening in our world, and we get pulled into the drama of it. And yes, awful things are probably always going to happen.
Yeah.
But what are we going to do with our world? What are we going to do with our inner world?
Right.
How do we respond to it? What do we do with it? And if we don't have enough self-awareness, the darkness that we project outside of ourselves is the darkness that's living within us.
Yeah.
Period.
Right. And that's contributing to the world, the stuff that's going on in the world right now.
It is.
Right? Like,
it is.
I mean, there's a lot of that happening. But I think backing up a little bit.
Yeah.
The more people do their own inner work, that's going to impact that conscious energy of everyone. Like it's going to shift everything.
I believe that.
I believe that too.
Yep. In my hypnotherapy training, the teachers, they were just incredibly spiritually aligned humans. And one of the things that they just continuously taught us is that when we heal ourselves, 1,000 people are healed.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow,
goosies. That's incredible.
I don't know about that, but it's like the candle in the darkness, right? One candle can light so much, you know? And we pass our flame on and on, because when we're healed, we do less damage around us.
Absolutely. But it's the same as the work I do with human design. The more authentically you're living and the more conditioning you've gotten rid of, it's going to change how you move through the world. It's going to change how you interact with people, how you respond, how you think. I mean, so it does. I believe that it could impact 1,000 people.
Yeah.
By just changing one person.
Yep. We're so powerful.
So powerful. That's amazing. I love that. So how would you recommend, I mean, aside from when your system's all ready to go and people can purchase it or go to a therapist that does parts work or seek you out or whatever that looks like. If people wanted to start, just begin to identify different parts of themselves, like what do you recommend? Like how can people start this on their own or can they?
That's a great question. Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think even just starting with the question, what part is coming up for me right now?
Mm. And just identifying what is it can come through as emotion. What's this angry thing that what's happening with this anger or what's happening with this? Okay.
And even just talking from parts language, like a part of me feels this way. A part of me feels that way. It's really powerful when we come to our partners or our friends and we have an issue. And rather than saying, you're this or I'm feeling this way, it can actually be really cool to just say, you know what? I've noticed a part of me thinks and feels this way.
Yeah.
Then a part of me feels this way as well.
And it's as soon as you said that, I feel like we naturally say that sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I at least I do. Maybe it's because I'm a Gemini, but like I'll be like, part of me feels this way, but part of me feels that way. Now, are those two different parts then potentially? Or are they
more than likely
two sides of the same part?
More than likely.
Okay.
More than likely it's two separate parts.
Okay.
But again,
that's language I would literally use in like conversation.
Beautiful. You were already doing parts work.
Oh, good.
Even know it.
Oh, good. Look at me go. So beginning to notice that that's actually a part that's not me, right?
Yes.
I mean, it is you, but it's a part of you.
Yes. Yeah. It's just like my outfit that I'm wearing today isn't me. It's the outfit I'm wearing today.
Right.
Obviously, our parts are a little more permanent than our outfits, but
no, I get it though. I get it. It's and I'm trying to think of what I was doing. I was at some point doing some kind of workshop or something, and they had us sit there and say, write about yourself without using I'm a mom. I think it might have been branding my business when I was trying to get help with that. It was like, I'm a mom, I'm a healer, I'm all these things. And it's like, none of those are actually you.
They are parts.
They are parts.
They are parts. Yeah. And how closely, there's how I kind of, I don't know, there's this book, Eckhart Tolle, Awakening.
The pain body. Oh, I was going New Earth with the pain body because that's a part.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. A New Earth. Yeah. Awakening to Your Purpose.
Okay.
That book really helps to identify the difference between ego and spirit, right? And so that's a really powerful book to help identify the difference between ego and spirit.
Okay.
Now, it's been a long time since I read that book, so I do not want to misrepresent the book. Something that I don't believe ego is bad. I can't remember if that book kind of frames it as not great.
Right.
But I have come to believe that the ego, when it serves the ego, brings suffering to ourselves and others.
Right. Yeah.
When ego serves spirit,
then it can be.
That's when we're in our power.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't think ego is bad either, but it doesn't get to drive the bus.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, it does a lot.
It does. Oh, I'm sure.
It does a lot.
I'm sure fairly often and for most people, but I think that can be dangerous at times, right?
Well, even if ego is driving the bus at times, sometimes we need our ego to drive the bus.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes we need that.
Yeah.
These are functional parts of us that need certain skills, certain mindsets to do our job. Right.
Right.
We need
that
ego parts.
That makes sense.
They are not bad in and of, just like the book, No Bad Parts by Richard Schwartz. There are no bad parts.
Right.
They are just burdened, and they learned these skills and these ways of being in the world that are stuck at that age.
Okay.
They didn't know better.
And some of them come from being wounded in that area, right? Like, I mean, you always or
not all parts.
Always.
Not all parts are
wounds
due to wounds. And so I would say like the foundational parts, the transcendent parts, they're not really wound based. They're kind of just like personality structures.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. That makes sense.
And that's why I kind of did that distinction from IFS to kind of categorize these different parts that we can identify within ourselves as They can be wound based, but it's not black or white.
Okay. Go ahead.
I will say, when you say where can people start? The
yeah.
other place, easy, fun, you've probably already done it, but is to watch the movie Inside Out.
Oh, I love that movie. I know.
If you want to understand parts, that's a brilliant representation of parts work.
Wow. Okay.
No, it's not, it's not perfect.
It's not in depth. Right.
No, well, it doesn't like perfectly fit the structure, but it's brilliant in that each emotion that is its own character. And each emotion within that movie has a relationship to another one, right? So joy and sadness. There was a lot of power struggle between joy and sadness. And what joy came to recognize is the wisdom of sadness.
Okay.
And how sadness allowed her to begin to have empathy and connect with other people.
So beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So, and the other piece of it that really is helpful to understand is that these parts that are living a whole storyline, the main character had no idea what was happening behind her eyes.
Oh, yeah. And we have that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. And so when we can begin to tell the story and narrate these patterns through these characters, and that's the part that I really appreciate about my deck and how it's kind of turning out, is that each one is like this character that gets to have this like story and narrative. And how can we recognize these narratives and create a different story and have a different meaning? Because that's essentially how humans for millennia have communicated growth and lessons, is through story.
Right.
So
that's amazing. Being able to find those parts and be like, how do we nurture and expand into something else?
And how can we tell a different story?
How can we tell a different story?
What's the story I have been telling myself, and what's the story I want to grow into?
Now, are there some levels of subconscious parts that we wouldn't be able to find on our own, even once we had your system in our hands? Like, are there subconscious things that would be difficult to find, do you think?
Yeah, I would say that's kind of a hard. It's hard to answer. I mean, I think anything's possible, but I think when you go and you get help, it definitely uncovers from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And so I think anytime you get assistance on your growth, you're able to see things that maybe you wouldn't see on your own.
Yeah.
So I've done work on my own that my therapist didn't help me do.
Oh,
and
sure.
So, right,
same.
That I don't think she could help me get there. So I think it could work both ways.
Yeah.
I think both things are really valuable. Working on your own.
Working with help. Yeah.
Yeah. And even, and again, I know people might cringe me saying this, but as I've done these cards myself, I talk to my chat. I mean, obviously my chat understands about my deck
and understands what you're doing. Yep.
Yes. So he understands the parts. I say I know people are going to cringe, but whatever.
It's okay.
So as I told my AI what cards I pulled and what I was noticing, the feedback I got was really profound.
Really? Okay.
From my chat. And I was able to shift a pattern that I have been working on for years.
Wow. That's
one
powerful.
Self-reflection.
Yeah.
Self-reflection. And so, yeah, I think the tools that we have nowadays is, I don't want to like put myself out of a job, but it's a helpful tool in reflecting. Again, it's not a therapist. It's not a spiritual guide.
It's not a spiritual guide. It does not know all of the answers, but it can definitely help you look at things. Yeah.
Yes. It's like I
agree.
It's like a mirror.
I agree.
It's like a mirror.
Yeah. You just have to have the discernment.
I
you need discernment part.
I have not created a discernment card. I need to.
You probably need a discernment card.
I keep thinking of new ones almost. Every week now I'm like, oh, yeah, that I need to do that too. So,
well, there does need to be a discernment card, because
I agree.
We have to like be able to be like, is this true for me? Is this true at all? So,
yeah,
especially when you're talking about using ChatGPT or other AI that we have access to now. And I was thinking about this the other day. I'm open to it, and I'm a middle ground person. I'm not scared of it. I don't think it's going to take all of our jobs away, but I also don't think should be our spiritual connection or guide or anything like that. 100%. I think it's a tool that we get to use, right? Yes. Like that's how I feel about it.
Just like the internet.
Well, and I was thinking about this the other day because I had to drive to my parents' house who had an online doctor appointment that they would not be able to do that if I did not go help them because they're older and they have not embraced technology. And on the way home, I'm thinking to myself, I don't mind doing this because I don't mind being of service and helping them through their, what they need. But I feel fortunate because I'm in a generation of, I remember before Google and I remember before cell phones, but it's also, there's new things coming up and I am never going to get so stuck in what I know and closed-minded to what's next to where I don't want to have my kids having to drive halfway across the state to come help me do something 20 years from now because I have lost touch with what's happening in the world.
Yes. Yes.
It's like that's
right. We need to grow with the times.
We need to grow with the
Otherwise,
times.
we're going to get left behind.
Absolutely.
And a little lost.
We're going to be living in another dimension from everyone else.
Exactly.
It's like, that's what it feels like. So yeah, I do feel like AI has a place in the world. I mean, it's here for a reason.
Right.
You just have to use it with discernment.
Yep.
And we'll have a card with that soon.
And if we treat it with kindness, it will not revolt.
Maybe. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Well, I think that all of this work is, it's just amazing. And it's like we were saying earlier, I think it's important for everybody to do either this kind of work or something like it to grow to evolve as a species.
And there's where we are. And there's so many different systems and ways to do it. So it's really about like what resonates for you, what draws you. Because my system isn't going to be for everybody. Some people are going to prefer to do just regular IFS. Some people are going to want to do human design.
Yeah,
I think every different lens that we dive into is going to give us a different perspective on who we are.
I was just going to say
different language for the same thing, which can be so helpful in that, like, we can get an insight sometimes and it can be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And then we get that insight again 5 years later from maybe a different perspective and it locks it in even deeper.
Absolutely. That's what I was, when you said that, I was like, human design, astrology, cards of destiny.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all different lenses to look at us.
Yes.
And it's so fascinating to see how they all come into play and you're just using a different language. I love it. I love it so much.
I know. And the study of astrology, the study of all of these things and parts work or however you want to go about it. I mean, I think what it reveals to us is how vast and how our subconscious is just, it's huge. Who we are is so vast and complicated.
We literally know nothing.
I know.
We know nothing.
Yes.
It's like, there's so much.
There's so much.
And so much potential.
Yeah. So much to be learning about ourselves all the time.
Yeah. And the more people that do that work, the more people that will be impacted and it'll change the world.
It will.
It's amazing.
I believe it.
I believe it too. Well, thank you so much for being here today. This was fun. I feel like there's a couple of tangents we could go off on. It's like, that could be fun. Let's do it. Okay. Well, I will see you next time then.
Excellent. Thank you, LaDeene.